theyeshiva.net.
Pesachim Kuvav Amar Aleph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 lines from the top. Tanu Rabbanon. The rabbis taught. Zocher es Yom HaShabbos L'Katshay. The pasuk says it's the right day, Friday morning. Zocher es Yom HaShabbos L'Katshay. In Aseres HaDibros in Parshas Yisroi, Hashem tells the Jewish people, remember the day of Shabbos L'Katshay, to sanctify it. Says the Braisa, Zoichrehu al Hayayin. Remember it on over a cup of wine. Meaning, from this pasuk we learn that there's a biblical commandment for Kiddush, right? Remember the day of Shabbos. How do we understand remember? It doesn't only mean remember, you should remember that concept. But Zocher Shem Shabbos L'Katshay means to sanctify it. So it's not just by doing certain things or not doing certain things, but there's a special mitzvah that Hashem gave the Jewish people to remember Shabbos and sanctify it, which the Chazal understood as verbally welcoming the Shabbos, declaring it as a great day, as a holy day, as a sacred day, as a day of God, a day of rest. But the Chazal added wine. That's not biblical, at least according to most opinions, because it doesn't say that in the Torah. Zoichreu, how should you do it? They added flavor to it, pun intended. How do you add flavor to it? You do it over a cup of wine. Ein li, says the Braisa, ein li, I would only say, ein li ela bayoim. I may have learned that this is only by day, balayla minayin. How do I know by night as well? Talmud loymar zocher es yom HaShabbos L'Katshay, which the Gemara immediately doesn't understand. Balayla minayin? What type of question is this? How do you know at night? Adar rabba, ikir Kedusha balaylahu. The main Kiddush ought to be at night. The chikadish. Because when you're making Kiddush, tchilas yoyma boil Kedusha. It's the beginning of Shabbos that you have to sanctify. In other words, when the Torah says, Zocher es Yom HaShabbos L'Katshay, remember the day of Shabbos to make it holy. Logically, when does that refer to? When Shabbos comes in, right? When Shabbos comes in Friday evening. In the Jewish religion, night precedes day, right? Every day starts with the night before. So when Shabbos comes in, that's when you should remember it to sanctify it. Not in the middle of the day. I'll ask you a question. When should you welcome your guest? 10 hours, the second day after they come, when they're sitting by the meal. When do you welcome your guest? When they come to the door, when they arrive to the door. Zocher es Yom HaShabbos L'Katshay, when it arrives. That's when you declare it to be a sacred day. So Balayla is actually the logical time for Kiddush. The question is the other way, Bayoim. V'su, second. Balayla minayin Talmud loyma Zocher es Yom. You asked, how do we know to make Kiddush at night? And you answered, because it says Zocher es Yom. Tana ma'adir alayla. The Tana is looking to find a source for Kiddush at night. V'kanosiv l'kradu yamama. And he brings a verse that tells me day of Shabbos. These two questions are so intense that the Gemara says there's no way the Braisa did not go through some error. Hachi kama, this is how you have to explain the Braisa. Zocher es Yom HaShabbos L'Katshay, you have to reverse the words. Zoichreu al hayayin b'knisaseh. Chazal said when Shabbos enters, remember it over a cup of wine. Ein li ela balayla bayoim minayin. From this pasuk, I may have only thought at night. How do you know to do Kiddush by day? Talmud loymar, Zocher es Yom HaShabbos. It could have said Zocher es HaShabbos. Why did it say Zocher es Yom HaShabbos? To teach me that Kiddush should also be by day. The Gemara is not saying there was something missing in the Braisa. There was nothing missing in the Braisa. The Gemara is just reversing the order. Instead of the original text which said, Ein li ela bayoim, balayla minayin, Talmud loyma Zocher es Yom HaShabbos, which didn't make sense, the Gemara says you have to say, Ein li ela balayla, bayoim minayin, Talmud loyma Zocher es Yom HaShabbos L'Katshay.
Why didn't the Gemara say something simple? Zocher es Yom HaShabbos L'Katshay means Zocher Yom HaShabbos L'Katshay, because Laila for sure you'll remember, because that's when that day starts. You make Kiddush and everything. Just don't forget to do it on the day. Why don't they?
No, because Zocher Yom HaShabbos L'Katshay is a Kiddush that you have to verbally declare. Right. So Friday night you would have never known to do this.
No, you would never forget on Friday night.
You wouldn't forget it mentally, perhaps. But the Torah wants you to verbally declare that the day is holy. That's what Kiddush is, right? Mekadesh HaShabbos. So that we know you do lekatshai when it comes in, but the pasuk wants you to do it by day also. That's why it says by yom. That's how we understand. So now we have to understand both. We understand both. It's just the text was somewhat erroneous because the words have to be reversed.
I think the text is Kiddush itself, which is a beautiful Kiddush. Don't forget to do it during the day as well. So Zachoris Yom HaShabbat.
Right, but the text said remember by day. How do you know that's by day? How do you know by night? Zachoris Yom HaShabbat lekatshai. So the Gemara asks two things. First of all, it would be more logical to say at night the day is a bigger Kiddush. And second of all, the source is Yom. Yom doesn't teach you the night, Yom teaches you the day. So that's why the Gemara just reverses the order. If you look in Tosfos on the word Zechreyu Alayayin, he adds a very interesting thing. Where did the Chazal come up with the idea to remember it over wine? So he says, the Zechira Ksiv Alayayin. We see in Tanakh that remembrance is connected to wine. The pasuk says, he brings a few psukim here. The pasuk says, Zichroi kiyein levonoin in Hosea. His remembrance is like the wine of Lebanon. Shir Hashirim, naskira doidecha miyoyin. Will remember your love out of wine, from wine. So we see already in the Tanakh that schir is associated with yayin, which is why the Chazal took the Zachiris Yom HaShabbos and added the cup of wine, a rabbinic obligation to make Kiddush on the wine, which is why most of the Rishonim hold that biblically you're Mekayim the mitzvah of Kiddush through words. It's the rabbis, the Chachamim, who added the mitzvah of wine. But wine, even though it says Zochreyu Alayayin, most Rishonim believe that's not a biblical commandment. It's not an explanation of the pasuk. The Chachamim said, don't only do it with words, do it also with a cup of wine. But when you say it with words, you're already Mekayim the mitzvah of Kiddush. That's the shita of most of the Rishonim. By day, making Kiddush on wine by day, according to all the Pesachim is b'derabbanan, to make Kiddush by day. But by night, most of them, not everybody, but most hold it is midrabanan. Only the dibur is min haTorah. Zog the Gemara weiter. Beyoy mai mevarech. Okay, the bottom line is we make Kiddush at night and we make Kiddush by day. What's the bracha that we make during the day? Now you can't tell me that we do the same Kiddush that we do at night. We learned before on Daf Kufay Amud Aleph that Shabbos and Yom Tov by day you don't make the whole text of the Kiddush. Amar Rav Yehuda, boire pri hagafen. So Rav Yehuda tells us, what do you do Shabbos day? You take a cup of wine, and you make a bracha, boire pri hagafen. And you drink it in honor of Shabbos. You're not mentioning anything about Shabbos. Essentially, it's like drinking a cup of wine any time during the week. You pick up a cup, you say, boire pri hagafen. That's true. But the uniqueness here is that you do it before the meal. Usually you wash, you sit down for the meal, and then you drink wine. The fact that you're taking the cup of wine before the meal, and you're making a bracha b'rei pri hagafen, that's a demonstration. It's demonstrative that you're doing this to glorify, to honor the Shabbos, and therefore you're distinguishing the meal of Shabbos from the meal during the weekdays. And this bracha on the wine before the meal is like a praise for Shabbos. You're recognizing the Kedusha of Shabbos. Says the Gemara story. Reb Ashi iklal mechuzah. Reb Ashi arrived in a place called Mechuzah. He came there to be there for Shabbos. Amrulei, they told him, Likadesh lon mar Kedusha rabba. Let the master make for us the great Kiddush. Kedusha rabba means the great Kiddush. Havulei, and they gave him a cup of wine. Sava, Reb Ashi thought to himself, my nihu Kedusha rabba. What's this great Kiddush that they're speaking about? What was Rabbi Ashi's problem? Rabbi Ashi's issue was this. He knew that Rabbi Yehuda said that by day you only make Boire Pri Hagafen. On the other hand, this was the first time in his life that he heard that Kiddush, Shabbos morning, is called Kiddush Rabba, which means a big Kiddush, a great Kiddush. But he knew that Rabbi Yehuda said it's a small Kiddush. Friday night, you make Boire Pri Hagafen, and then you say a long bracha. But Shabbos day, you only make a Boire Pri Hagafen. So why are they calling the Kiddush of Shabbos morning after davening Kedusha Rabba? They told him, Likadesh lon mar Kedusha Rabba, a great Kiddush. It's not a great Kiddush, it's a short Kiddush. It's a brief Kiddush, it's a small Kiddush. So Reb Ashi was confused. Why are they calling it Kedusha Rabba? And then he thought to himself, perhaps, they have a different tradition. Perhaps on Shabbos morning, they do a big Kiddush. A big Kiddush. They do, maybe that's the minhag of it. And if that's...
Instead of Friday night.
Huh? Or instead, or like Friday night. He wasn't sure. Maybe they have some different minhag. And if he's coming to them and he's making Kiddush for them, he's not going to do it according to his own custom. He wants to follow their tradition in mechuzah. But he doesn't know what's happening. They're calling it Kedusha rabba, but he knows what Rabbi Yehuda said. Omar, so he says to himself, okay, Michdi, let's see. Kol habrachas kulon beire priyagofen amri bereisha. Whenever you're drinking wine, you always make first beire priyagofen, whether it's Friday night or Shabbos day. You're always making first beire priyagofen. So Omar beire priyagofen. He made a beire priyagofen, va'agid bey, and he prolonged the end of the blessing, hoping to be able to see what happens. Chazia, he sees lahu sov, an old man, the gachin, who bent down, v'shasi, and drank. So he understood immediately that Kiddush was over, and that's why this person bent down and drank from the cup in front of him. Kari anafshi, Rabbi said about himself, hechacham einov bereisha. The pasuk says in Ecclesiastes, in Koheles, the wise man has his eyes on his head. What does it mean he has eyes on his head? It means he knows how to look, and see what the future holds. He understands how to. He has his eyes on his head to plan for the future. Here too, Reb Ashri found a way to understand what the people of Mechuzah meant when they said Kedusha rabba. Now the truth is, the question is, why is it called Kedusha rabba? Why they call it Kedusha rabba? So the Rashbam says, because it's the bracha that you say by all the Kiddushim. It's the great Kiddush because you say it every time. Beire priyagofen, you always say Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkot, Rosh Hashanah, Shabbos, Yom Tov, no different. Beire priyagofen is Kedusha rabba. It pervades all the Kiddushes of the year. Whenever you make a bracha on wine, you're going to say Beire priyagofen. I don't care if it's the middle of the Seder, or it's Shavuos night, or it's a regular Shabbos. That's what the Rashbam says. Another reason, the Ran says that it's actually a small Kiddush. The reason they called it Kedusha rabba is what we call Lashon Sagi Noher. When somebody, Chalila, is blind, the expression Lashon Kodesh is Sagi Noher. He has a lot of light. It's a nice euphemism to be respectful, right? So therefore, they didn't want to call it the small Kiddush, they called it Kedusha rabba, the big Kiddush.
If he came there and he wasn't sure of the local custom, how could he ask? I want to do what you do here, please tell me. You just say this, so you would add more things.
Why didn't he ask them?
Yes. Why did he take
It's a good question.
take a chance?
Okay, I can't answer it, but I'll tell you what I assume, my speculation is, okay? 500 people in Shul, yeah, the Chazan went for very long. Rabbi is there, they give him a cup of wine in his hand, Kiddush, right? And the Olam is waiting. Maybe he felt he didn't want to prolong the time, or it would have been disrespectful. If this is their entrenched community, it would have been disrespectful that Rabbi Ashi doesn't know what they do. Could be also out of respect to them, right? And he's already holding the cup of wine, so it's not like if they would have told him an hour ago, you're making Kiddush, so then he can go over to the Gabbai and whisper. It wasn't the minhag. But you see here, he was caught off guard, right? L'kadosh on Havdalah kosa. So now he's not going to make a show. That's much as my speculation. It would be disrespectful that he doesn't know their minhag. You come to a place and you know what people do, they feel better. You know what I mean? Everybody knows that. It's respect. So Rabbi Ashi didn't want to do that. But what do you do here? So he made Kiddush. After Beire Priyagof, and he went a little long. Somebody started to drink. He knew this is it, and that was it. That's why he calls it a Chacham Einu B'Rosh. It was an inyan of Chachma. An inyan of Chachma. Haloimed Mekal Adam. Respect. Chacham is loimed Mekal Adam. You respect every person. You come to a community, you have to respect the tradition of that community. And when you don't know it, I think people feel like you're an alien a little bit. Especially Reb Ashi is the Gadol Adar.
Wasn't it even more so in Metzusa? The more speaks about the name of Metzusa that it was a place that held it.
Yeah. Very good. He says Chazal say Bnei Mechuzah had wealth and they held of themselves, so maybe he had to be more sensitive. He's saying he didn't want to burst the bubble. He didn't want to burst the bubble.
call it today Kedusha Rabba?
We still call it Kedusha Rabba. We took their name. We still call it Kedusha Rabba. So the Rashbam says because we say Beire Pri Hagafen at every Kiddush, or the Ran says Beloshen Sagi Noir out of respect. The Ramban says there's a Kabbalistic reason. I don't have a Mikrois G'doilus here. Huh?
It's just a release when someone makes a lavish Kiddush.
Mikrois G'doilus. I just want to see what the Ramban says. Yeah. The Ramban says that there's a Kabbalistic reason for it also. Yeah. I mean, but that's what I think. Why you have another reason why the Bashi didn't ask. It's a psapella. Why couldn't you just ask them, right? Rabbeinu David says the reason it's called Kedusha Rabba is a soid nelam. It's a hidden secret. The Rashbam says because he said by all the Kedushim. The Tosfos Rid says because of Sagi Noher. Ran Tosfos Rid Maram Chalva. And the Rabbeinu David says it's a soid nelam. It's a secret.
Didn't you learn that the best food we have to save for Yom?
No.
So it's a rabba. I mean, it's like you save the best.
Oh, but the Kiddush is Kedusha Rabba. You're saying it's at the food.
Okay, so and Suda.
Yeah, I hear you. An important thing that you learn from this story of halacha, Tosfos says, is you learn from this story a very interesting halacha, and that is that even though it's a great mitzvah and amufcha, though you're not obligated to give wine to everybody to drink after Kiddush, but you don't have to give them your wine. We see from this person, this old man, he bent down and he drank his own cup of wine. In other words, you don't have to pour from the kosh shel bracha into the other cups. This person drank from his cup before they poured from kosh shel bracha. But that's only if their cups are not blemished, meaning if the people around the table didn't drink from their cup, so their wine is not blemished, then they could just drink from their cup if it's a new fill. But if their cups are blemished because they drank from it already, then you have to pour and give them from your cup of kosh shel bracha. You're saying it's disrespectful. How did he drink before Rabashi? So he says because it was a long shachris and the poor guy was dying already.
Somebody makes Kiddush, he shouldn't quit. It's right.
Very good. It's a good question. Tosfos asks it. Take a look in Tosfos. Hafagachin v'shasi. The last Tosfos on the page. V'im taimar. He didn't make Kiddush. So why did he drink before Rabashi? He says, V'im taimar, you see? The Beperik Shloisha Sha'achlu Amrin and Ena Mesubr Nashayin Litoim Ad Shayitim HaMevarich. We learned in Masechta Brachas Daf Mem Zayin that the people are not supposed to taste, are not supposed to eat until Yitim HaMevarich. So how is it that this man just drinks before Reb Ashi took a drink himself? Because obviously Reb Ashi didn't drink yet. That's the question of Tosfos. So he says, V'yashloim Adahainu Dafke B'hamoitzi Shetzarich lechel kedamnin beperik reu bezdin lo yifris adam prusa lo archin elim kein oichel iman hilchach tzarich lahamten at sheyitem hamevarich aval kiddush she'ein chayva lishtas lamevarich ein tzarich lahamten. So Tosfos says hamoitzi, he himself has to eat. So therefore they should wait till he eats because they're yotzeh from his bracha. But kiddush, he could do kiddush and he could give somebody else to drink. Tosfos holds he doesn't have to drink himself the Kiddush. Somebody has to drink, but not him. So therefore they don't have to wait. So that's the difference. Umiyu be Yerushalmi de brachas, but nonetheless, in Yerushalmi it says, Amar Reb Ava b'shem Rav, Mesubin asurin litoim achiyitim amavarech, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi yom shoysin afal pi shaloi shasa. Rabbi Yeshua says they could drink before him, but the first opinion says that they're not allowed to. He says, V'loi pligi, it's not a machlaikas. Why? Mada Amar Reb Abba, when Reb Abba said they're not allowed to show you kulon skukin lekais echat. If they all were drinking from his cup, since they were drinking from his cup, they have to wait for him. It's not nice for him to give them before himself. But if everybody has his own cup in his hand, so really he could have made Kiddush himself. He just heard from him, but he could have made himself, so he doesn't have to wait. Umashmanami dim ein kaisa biyadei afilu shafach mekais bracha lekaisa sachedim ein lem litem achiyitim amavarich. If taka they don't have their own cup and he poured it into their cups, right? They're not mamish drinking from his cup, but he poured it. They should not drink till he drinks. Avok sheyesh lekol echad kais ein tzarich lahamtin. Ulekach havagochin v'shasi, according to the Yerushalmi, makes very much sense why he bent down and drank, because he had his own cup of wine, and when you have your own drunk cup of wine, you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait because you're not eating. So by a Monsey, you're eating from his bread. So you wait for him, even if he gives you a piece of bread before. But here, you're not using his wine, you're using your own wine. So that makes perfect sense. In addition to Tosfos' first answer. Right, exactly. Right, there was not pogum, yeah. Tosfos' first answer was that Kiddush is b'chlal different. Why? Because since he doesn't have to taste it, he could give it to somebody else. So even in any case, you could drink first. The second answer is because it's not his wine. Umikan yesh lo yichiach she'ein sarich lishpech mikois shel bracha l'shar kaises. From here, you could prove you don't have to pour from your cup to other cups. They could drink themselves. Umiyu heichet de begimi tzarich lishpechem and l'shar kaises de'shishtu kulam mikois she'enei pagim. If they already drank from their cup, so their wine is called blemished, then you have to give them from your cup. V'afal gavdish siya loy ma'akva kedamrinu b'peida kol ma'arvin. Even though it's not ma'akiv if they don't drink. It's not like if they don't drink, it's a problem. They're still yotze kiddush. You don't have to drink, right? V'gam b'hamoitzi, yeah, but l'chatchila, it's a mitzvah min ha'mufcher to be tayim, but you don't have to. Tosfos' point is that you don't have to. So l'chayr, if you don't have to, what do I care if it's pogum or not? He says, but it's much better to drink from a kais that's not pogum, because it's a mitzvah to be tayim from the kais of kiddush, and then you should be tayim from a kais that's not pogum. From this Yerushalmi, you can prove by bread would be the same thing. If they all have their own bread in front of them, then they can eat their own bread and not wait.
Pogum by bread too.
Why the Gemara says that what? That if before he ate it, he gave somebody bread, and he says, "Tol broich, here, take the bread of bracha," and it's not a hefsek. V'amrina nami balabayis b'tzeik deshivatzei ba'ayin yafa. He should cut the bread and do it nicely. The mashma shein oichlan ela masha mechalik lahem. Sounds like he's the one who gives them the bread. Ma'iri b'shein kikalufnei kalechad. If they don't have their own bread, inami b'Shabbos going shein lehem lechem mishna das strichen lechem b'ptziyasai. They don't have lechem mishna on Shabbos. They have to eat from his bread, and therefore they should of course wait till he eats.
According to the Gemara, they didn't even finish Kiddush yet.
Right. No, he finished Kiddush. He was at the end, Hagofen, it's Tzazungen, at the end of Hagofen. So this man right away drank. So Rabbi Ashi understood that the Kedusha rabba means it's a short Kiddush.
With Kiddush, can you just, when someone makes Kiddush, can you take it in the bottle and pour it to everyone? Or it's only when they all have their cups ready?
It seems like, you mean afterwards?
He doesn't want to give from his cup, whatever. He takes the bottle and then...
I think that's fine, yeah. Zag the Gemara. Amri b'nei Reb Chia. The children of Reb Chia taught, the children of Reb Chia said, Mishal hidul Matzai Shabbos, mavdil v'hoilach b'chol HaShabbos kulei. If somebody did not do Havdalah Matzai Shabbos, you could do Havdalah the whole Shabbos. The whole Shabbos, it means the whole week. The children of Reb Chia taught that you could do Havdalah a whole week. Ad kama, what do we mean? How long? Amar Reb Zera ad revi b'Shabbos, until Wednesday. Meaning, you can do it until the beginning of Wednesday, which is Tuesday night. So Tuesday night is the deadline for Havdalah. Ki hadi Yosef Reb Zera kamed Reb Asi, because Reb Zera was sitting in front of Reb Asi. V'amri la others say Reb Asi kamed Reb Yochanan. Reb Asi was sitting in front of Reb Yochanan. V'Yosef kamar le'inyan gittin. And Reb Zera or Reb Asi was speaking about gittin, when you make a condition by a divorce. Let's say somebody gives a get to his wife and he says, you're divorced with this get, but there's a condition. The condition is that after Shabbos, I want you to give me $2,000. And then this get is valid. After Shabbos, yeah? Or he says the other way, I want that you should give me $2,000 before Shabbos. So he says, Chod b'Shapsa, Sunday, Trei Monday, Tlasa Tuesday, Basar Shapsa. They're considered after Shabbos. Arba v'chamsho, Ma'ile Yoyme Kama Shabbata. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are considered Erev Shabbos. Fascinating. If I say you have to give me $2,000 after Shabbos, till Tuesday night, you're good. Wednesday is not after Shabbos. It's already connected to the next Shabbos. If I say before Shabbos, Before it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tuesday is already connected to the previous Shabbos. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is called Basar Shabbata. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are called Kamer Shabbata, Erev Shabbos, right? We see also the Shir Shel Yom of Wednesday. At the end is L'chuna Ranana, right? We start L'chuna Ranana. Mahib Shanon. Wednesday you start Shabbos. You start the union of Shabbos, yeah? Wednesday has to be already Halb Shabbos dik. Achana for Shabbos is Wednesday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you're still living with the previous Shabbos. But that's how you live.
Isn't he her ball clothes too?
Isn't
he her ball clothes more? Because she has a...
Yeah, of course. Yeah. This is just a special condition. A special condition. A special buy-up, right. A special tonight. Very good. The Aaron Siddur, yes, Shabbos is coming on Wednesday. Shabbos is coming, yeah.
It's an extra capital that they added at the end.
Yes, they added Wednesday, yeah. It's not that capital Tehillim, it's an extra capital. Because it's the beginning of the next Shabbos. L'chuna Ranan al Hashem, yeah. Wednesday Shir Shel Yom, yeah. Yeah. There's an expression in Yiddish about a Jew who doesn't want to go to work. So he says, Ayid Zuntik, Tracht Montik, was wird sein Dienstig? Mittwoch trachte, Donnerstag, schon Erev Shabbos is get. A Jew Sunday thinks on Monday what's going to be on Tuesday. Wednesday he starts thinking, Thursday's already Erev Shabbos, is all good. And that's how he goes through life. So in any case, based on this Yisoid of Reb Zera in front of Reb Zera or Reb Asi about the first 3 days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Reb Zera qualified that when the children of Reb Chia said you could do Havdalah a whole week, it doesn't mean a whole week. It means throughout the week till Tuesday night, because till Tuesday night is still the energy of Shabbos, so you could say goodbye to Shabbos, you can make Havdalah. After that, it's already disconnected to the previous Shabbos, so the mitzvah of Havdalah doesn't come into play anymore, because Havdalah has to be after Shabbos. Monday's after Shabbos, Tuesday's after Shabbos, so you can make Havdalah after Shabbos. Wednesday's already part of the new Shabbos. Amar Rabbi Yaakov Bar Idi, Rabbi Yaakov son of Idi said, Avaloi ala oir. Do everything, but don't make a bracha on Bar Yemei or Bar Yemei Besamim. You don't have to. I mean, you... No, you don't make Bar Yemei Bechlal. Bar Yemei Besamim you could make any day if you want to smell, but you don't have to make Bar Yemei Besamim. The point is, if you're making Havdalah, let's say Sunday morning. It happens sometimes. People sleep through, right? Shabbos or whatever. They're sick, whatever happens. It comes Sunday, people make Havdalah. So what do? You take wine, you make Hagafen, and you make Hamavdal. That's it. You don't make B'rei Merei Eish or B'rei Midei B'Samim. This is only Shayich. Why? B'rei Merei Eish we make Mitzvah Shabbos because that's when Adam created the fire with the two stones. So it's Shayich to Mitzvah Shabbos. Psamim is because the Nefesh, Yisera, leaves us on Mitzvah Shabbos and there's a certain anguish in the person. But from Sunday and on, these brachas are not applicable and therefore we make only Hagafen and Hamavdal.
So when does that cut in for the exclusionary aspect of it? You don't make those two.
Sunday morning.
But when is Sunday morning? A person sleeps and then he wakes up? Or
yeah.
Shotgun?
Yeah, dawn break Sunday morning.
All night you can make it.
Yeah, all night Mitzvah Shabbos you could still make the brachas. Amar Rav Bruna Amar Rav. Rav Bruna said in the name of Rav, Hanoitel Yodov, a very fascinating halacha. Hanoitel Yodov, somebody who washed his hands, like for Hamoitzi, before Kiddush Friday night, Lo Yikadesh. He shouldn't make Kiddush himself. And then Hamoitzi. He should hear Kiddush from somebody else. We have a principle in halacha, taken from Netilas Yadayim Su'uda, which means, right after I wash my hands, I should not make a hefsek between washing the hands and eating, because if somebody does, and then they divert their attention from guarding their hands, then they can't eat based on that washing, and they have to wash a second time. So the Bruna says, what happens if somebody made a mistake? And instead of washing my hands after Kiddush, I went and I washed my hands before Kiddush. We'll soon see, yeah. Yeah, the Yekas. We'll soon see. This is going to be this Gemara. We'll soon see. So the Bruna said, if you made a mistake and you washed your hands before Kiddush, don't make Kiddush yourself. Why? Because he holds that the bracha of Kiddush is going to be a hefsek. It's going to be a partition, a separation between the washing of the hands and the eating. It's going to be a partition and a hesech hadas, especially that for drinking wine, you don't have to wash your hands. I don't have to wash my hands on Netilas Yadayim for drinking wine. So therefore, the wine didn't need Netilas Yadayim. The wine doesn't need Netilas Yadayim. If the wine needs washing hands,
Then by Natilas, by Kiddush, that your stam hands should be pure, so that you shouldn't be Matam the toes. Isn't there also a din of Tim Nadara by, I think it's a sheni, the stam.
but you don't have to. You don't have to wash your hands before Kiddush. Right, you don't have to. If you would have to wash your hands before Kiddush, then you could say that Kiddush is not a hesach hadas. You're not diverting your attention. Because before you drink wine, your hands have to be pure, so you have to be very careful. But since Kiddush doesn't need netilas yadayim, so the Bruna tainas that if you wash your hands, you make until then you pick up your cup and you make Kiddush, hagafen and Kiddush, it's a diversion. And now if you're going to have to make hamoitzi, you're going to have to go back and wash your hands a second time. So he says the best thing is lo yikadosh. Don't make kiddush yourself. Listen to somebody else. Fulfill your obligation, and then make hamaitzi. So then there was no hesach hadas. You didn't divert your mind from the washing of the hands because you didn't make kiddush. You didn't get involved in anything else. You were just waiting and saying hamaitzi. If you did make kiddush yourself, Reb Bruno would say, go and wash your hands a second time. He doesn't want you to do that because that means the first bracha was a bracha of Havdalah. The first time. So that's why his first option is hear Kiddush from somebody else and then make Hamaitzi. But if you don't have anybody else, the Rashbam says you would have to do washing of the hands again.
Why would you make a second bracha for washing? Why wouldn't you just wash?
Hefsek.
Because the first Natila is cancelled out.
So for example, if a person didn't bench, wants to eat again, he would just wash his hands.
If there was real hesach hadas, if you weren't guarding your hands.
I'm saying you're saying that we take on that there wasn't.
Right. Yeah, that's what he tainas. There's going to be other opinions, but that's what his opinion is. Okay, we're going to see, but that's what his opinion is. Don't make kiddush yourself. Let somebody else make kiddush on wine, and then do amaitz.
If someone washes and then they talk, whatever, I've seen people, they go wash again without a bracha. Same.
Well, if their hands were guarded, that's fine. If your hands were guarded, it's fine.
Timing alone doesn't consider it.
Right. That's what he says. If you were quiet by the Kiddush, he holds that that's not considered a hefsek. It's not called hesach hadas because you didn't make the bracha. So therefore, you could continue making your hamaitzi.
So any dibur basically is because of the dibur or because of the kiddush?
Because it's the Kiddush, it looks like. It looks like the Kiddush, yeah.
Sounds like it's a bigger thing than just talking.
Huh?
It's a bigger hefsek.
Yeah. Take a look. The Rashbam explains it very beautifully. Not al yadav lo yekadesh. You see, not al yadav lo yekadesh. Ela acher yekadesh. Let somebody else make kiddush. V'hu yetzi yedei chivase b'shmiya ushsiya. And then you will hear, okay, and drink. The ein kan hesach hadas. Me acher shehu atzmoi einoi mevarech. Aval hu atzmoi lo yekadesh im not al yadav kadesh sheyoichel al smach netila de lefnei kiddush. The kiddush mafsik bei netila la'achila v'have kehesach hadas u'boi netila achariti basar Kedusha. You're going to need a second netila to take it for netilas yadayim seuda. U'b'shvil kiddush loy boi netila. For kiddush, you didn't have to wash your hands. The anoitel yadav lepeda said, "Ezim megasi haruach." When it says somebody decides to wash his hands before he eats fruits, it's gasas haruach. It's like could be a form of arrogance. V'hakam mashmalon the netila shelefnei kiddush eina oilaloi lefichach yikadesh tchila. V'acher kach noitel yadav. The netila before kiddush is not good, eina oilaloi, and therefore, if you yourself are making the kiddush, you have to do a second time netila. V'kol shekein da noitel yadav lo yavdil. Certainly, this is true by Havdalah. If you washed before Havdalah, then you do Havdalah, and then you do hamaitzi from Alav Malka. Afilu kiddush de b'makom seudahu. Even kiddush, which is supposed to be in the place of a meal, still we say kiddush doesn't have to do with the netilas yadayim. The ikala meir by kiddush, we could say the leka hesach hadas. Afilu hachi ein yachal lismach al netilah de lefnei kiddush. Certainly Havdalah. V'hadika amar nata lo yekadesh v'lo amar mekadesh v'chayze v'noitel yad. Why don't you just say do a second netilas yadayim? Hainu mishum de loy be'inin netilas yadayim trei zimna. We don't need him to do it twice. The chadam inayu bracha levatala, because then once the bracha will be in hilchach lo yekadesh shu aval chaveri yekadesh. The best is if his chaver does kiddush. I am now going to add a few words from the Haggadah Sabach, even though it's not in the Gemara. After the words anoitel yadav lo yekadesh, v'chein amar Reb Adar bar Ava amar Rav, not al yadav lo yekadesh. Reb Bruna said this in the name of Rav. Reb Adar said this in the name of Rav. This is what the Haggadah Sabach adds. You have it in the Rif and you have it in the Rosh. How do we know that we have to add this? Because the next line, Amar luhu Rabbi Yitzchak bar Shmuel bar Marta. Rabbi Yitzchak the son of Shmuel the son of Marta said to them. In other words, he wasn't speaking to one, he was speaking to two. According to this text, we can understand. He was speaking to Rav Bruna and speaking to Rav Adar. What did he say? Very, very interesting response. Akati loy noch nafshe de Rav. Rav, your teacher has not yet passed away. Shachninu l'shmaite, and we already forgot everything he taught us. What's going on here? You're both quoting Rav. Rav is alive, and you already forgot? Zimnin Sigiyin Avakim Nekamei Rav. Many times I was standing in front of Rav on the night of Shabbos. Zimnin the Chaviv Alei Rifta. Sometimes he was hungry, and the bread was what he really craved more than anything else. Mekadesh Arifta. He made Kiddush on bread. Zimnin the Chaviv Alei Chamra. Sometimes other Friday nights, the wine was something that he really wanted at the time. That was more precious. Mekadesh Chamra. He would make Kiddush on the wine. In other words, when Rav felt hungry and he wanted bread more than anything else, what would he do? He would wash his hands, make hamoitzi, right? And make Kiddush on the bread and eat from the bread. So he would wash his hands like we do on the Tilas Yadayim. Instead of a cup of wine, he would take the chal, he would say, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam hamotzii lechem min haaretz. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher kedushanu b'mitzvahos v'ratzah banu v'shabbos kadsha, etc. Baruch atah Hashem mekadesh haShabbos, and he would eat the bread. If he wanted the wine, then he would make Kiddush on wine, and then wash his hands afterwards. Okay. First of all, we see from here a new yesod. When the Gemara said before, Zoichreu ala yayin, remember it on wine, it's lav dafka. We see clearly that Rav believed that you can also be mekayim the mitzvah with bread. And Rav holds, choose based on what you like more, what's chaviv, what you're more passionate about, what feels more precious and beloved now, that's what Rav holds you should choose. That's Rav's shita at least, that you could be mekadesh also on bread. But what we see from here is something else, that he often washed his hands before Kiddush, made hamoitzi, made the whole bracha of Kiddush, and he didn't go back, wash his hands again. This is l'chatchila how he did it. So this is how he's challenging Reb Adar bar Rava and Reb Bruna. How do you repeat in the name of Rav that if you wash your hands before Kiddush, you have to go and do a nuna tilas yadayim? It's not true. Rav himself did this many times, not once, many times. I saw him do this. How could you guys quote Rav in this way? Now,
but wait a second, it's not a contradiction, first of all, because it says here that he can do on yain or bread, but doesn't say that he can do on yain and then without washing eat the bread. So it's like...
Right. You're saying it's not mamash the same case because Rav was making Kiddush on bread. Rav was making Kiddush on bread, right? It seems though like they don't answer back. They don't answer back. Whenever, generally in Shas, not always, but generally, when there's no response, it's like you're right. Yeah. Basically, what they understood was that what he was saying is that Rav's behavior refutes you. Why? Even though Rav didn't do what you're saying happened, wash, make Kiddush on wine, and then eat bread. He washed and made Kiddush on bread. But the fact is, when he makes Kiddush on bread, between hamoitzi and eating, he does this whole Kiddush on Shabbos, this whole Nusach on Shabbos. And that's not called Hesach Hadas. And the reason it's not called Hesach Hadas is, apparently he feels, since Kiddush is a preparation for the meal, it's Makam Su'uda, right? You're going to eat the bread afterwards. This is not called a Hefsek, it's not called Hesach Hadas. So the same logic, he says, even if you washed your hands for hamoitzi, and you made until Zdam, and then you make Hagofen and Kiddush, the fact that you made the bracha of Kiddush is not a hefsek and Hesach Hadas. So right after that, you could make hamoitzi and not wash again. Just like you guys said, you can hear Kiddush from somebody else and drink and then make hamoitzi, and that's not called a hefsek. So I'm pining. You can also make the bracha for Kiddush, just like Rav made the bracha for hamoitzi and Kiddush before eating. That's what Rabbi Yitzchak bar Shmuel bar Marta responded to them, and indeed they actually did not respond. Now let's just speak about this practically for a moment. So the Rashbam says, what are we left with from this story? So the Rashbam says, that basically this is only a heter b'di'evet, meaning if you already washed before Kiddush, you're good. You could go, make Kiddush, drink the wine, make hamaitzi. But lechatchila, we don't say you should do this. You shouldn't drink wine between the Tilas Yadayim and the Suda, even in middle of the week when you're not making Kiddush, you're not making a whole bracha. You still shouldn't wash your hands, make hagaf and drink wine and then do hamaitzi. Rather, from the Tilas Yadayim, you should get straight to the bread. Even though we learned that it's not a hesach hadas, but lechatchila, it's not good to be mafsek. So the Rashbam says that this is only b'di'evet, not lechatchila. Okay? In this case, where you wash, you make Kiddush on wine, and then you eat bread. We're not talking about Rav's case. However, Tosfos Zimnin, okay? Let's take a look in the Rashbam and then in Tosfos, okay? Because from this comes a very interesting machlokes. Rashbam Chavivalei Rifta, you see Chavivalei Rifta? Shayarav Mekadesh Arifta, Alma Loiboyin Etile Achariti. Elameikara Moshe Yada, he washed his hands. For Achel Nama, he ate bread. The Kiddush, Alma Kiddush Alachar Netila, Loi Choshev Hesachadas. V'chein Hilchasa, that's the halacha. The Misha Natal Yada of Kaidem Kiddush ain't Tzorich Lachzav Litlam Acher Kiddush. V'loi Iflagu Rabbanan b'Mekadesh Arifta, l'Mekadesh Achamra, Midiloi Kamahada le'el Rabbi Yitzchak bar Shmuel Midi. The rabbis didn't distinguish between a case where you made Kiddush on bread, where you could say that the bread is in front of you, that's why there's no Hesach Hadas, or Kiddush on wine. V'haraya, they didn't answer back. They should have answered back. They don't. Umiyu l'chatchila moizgin makach neitel liyadayim. Initially, you should prepare the wine, dilute it with water, and then make Kiddush and go wash. Kebeis Hillel b'Maseches Brachas. Umidirav Shaminan, from Rav we learn a new halacha. Mekatchen ala pas. You can make Kiddush on bread. V'oimer, you take the bread, you say vayichulu. Umevarech hamoitzi. Ve'enoi oichel. Gam lo yifreis. At sheyikadesh acherike. Make Kiddush and then eat the bread, just like you did with wine. V'dafke Kiddush, aval Havdalah, eina ala lakos shel yain. Havdalah is only on wine. Kedam rinon. Like the Gemara says in Brachas, shiru kavu ala kais. When they became wealthier in the Bisman of Bayesheni, they made Havdalah on wine. Before that, it was only in davening. Umishein lekais yayin b'makim sherigil lishtas yayin al yavdil ala pas v'dailoi ba'avdalas tefillah b'siddur b'amram. If you don't have wine, in a case where you need wine, because we're going to soon learn later about Chamar Medina, but in a case where you have to use wine and you don't have wine, so just rely on the Havdalah of the Siddur, in other words, by Ma'ariv, and you don't have to. You Havdalah in davening, and you don't have to redo, and you're good. You made Havdalah. You don't have to, because you don't have wine, but you don't make it on bread. Where Kiddush, we see here a halacha that what? That you could make Kiddush. If you don't have wine, you make Kiddush on bread. From Rav, even when he had wine, if he wanted the bread, he made Kiddush on pas. No, we make on wine. We make on wine.
What did he learn? Did he say when you have both, you can do bread first and then not eat and then make Kiddush?
No, he says only b'di'evet. You should l'chatchila.
You could do a b'di'evet.
Yeah. If you washed your hands. Yeah.
Make Monsey, not eat the bread, and then eat, then make Kiddush on.
No, if you're making Kiddush on bread, you make Yom HaShishi, Moitzi, Mekadesh HaShabbos, and eat the bread. Just like the wine.
Yeah, and then you just make a bread for your dolphin.
You don't make bread for you don't have wine.
You don't have wine. Say wine comes into the meal, then you.
Oh, you'll make hagafen later. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought. So in other words, he's not making a case where you have both. It's only
right, only one. Yeah. Take a look in. So this is the shit. This is the shit of the Rashbam. Okay. If you take a look in Tosfos, you see the Tosfos Zimnin.
Before we go, he says, "Ve'ina oichel gam lo yifrok ad sheyakadesh amar." So in other words, you would make motzi, and then you would say vayachulu.
You make Mekadesh HaShabbos and then eat the bread.
You're saying you would eat, not that you're making Kiddush, you're making
Kiddush on bread.
Yeah, the words, the nusach of Kiddush
is the same nusach like on bread. The nusach on wine you make on bread. Tosfos Zimnin. You see the Tosfos Zimnin is Giyin. Yeah, the second Tosfos on Kuvava Medbeis. Zok Tosfos, Hashta Masik, the Kiddush lehava hesach hadas. Okay? Kiddush is not hesach hadas. V'im taima de pedek elu dvarim amri beis Hillel, moizgin esakos v'akach noitel liyadayim. Beis Hillel says clearly, first you mix the wine with water, you make Kiddush, and then you wash. You drink the wine and then you wash. Or mefarish time which from the takeoff linatilas yadayim suda. Because right after washing you have to eat. But is diluting wine with water more hesach hadas than kiddush? It's not more hesach hadas than kiddush. Kiddush is much more. Here it's words. Here it's an act. They would pour in warm water. You have to be very medactic, not to do too little. You have to be a connoisseur. Okay.
I thought you're not allowed to make a measurement on Shabbos. I thought that you're not allowed to measure something out. Here they say just the opposite. You have to be medactic in your measurement.
You're not using a measuring.
No, you're not using a measuring cup. You're just... That's fine.
It's not a measuring cup. But
you're good. Yeah. Eyeballing is fine. Rabbeinu Tam Pirish. Diluting wine is not hesach hadas. Hasam airi bechoil. Over there, it's the middle of the week. V'yashlachu shem yitel koydem meziga sheyasik b'shar dvarim v'lo yoichel la'alter v'lav adayte. It's the middle of the week. You wash your hands. Then you start diluting wine. You get caught up with stuff till you eat. Your hands are not protected anymore. Aval b'Shabbos ein lochu sheyafligel davar acher shashulchan orich v'yoichel miyad. On Shabbos, we're not afraid. You could do this all before. You wash your hands, and then you prepare the wine, you make Kiddush, and we're not afraid that you're going to go do other things before Monsey. Why? Because it's Shabbos. The mitzvah of the table should be prepared, so you're going to eat right away. So Tosfos' shitta is that Beis Hillel, Rabbeinu Tam's shitta. Beis Hillel was only talking about the middle of the weekdays. L'may nafkamina. Later Rashbam, we learned that it's only b'di'evid this heter. This whole heter is only b'di'evid. L'chatchila natilas yadayim should be before the Suda. But from this explanation of Rabbeinu Tam, we see, no, Beis Hillel is talking about Yemais HaChayil. Yemais HaShabbos, that you shouldn't dilute the wine before you wash your hands. You could get carried away. Natilas yadayim should be the first thing. But from Rabbeinu Tam, we see that what? That you could wash your hands l'chatchila before Kiddush, because it's not called Hesach Hadas.
It's Kiddush on wine.
Right. And from here we have a big Kiddush in halacha. Right? The Rashbam says don't do it, but the Yevid, if you did it, it's fine. But according to this Rabbeinu Tam, it's fine on Shabbos, not on the weekdays, but on Shabbos it's fine. And that's why the Ramah teaches us in Chaim Siman Reish Ayin Aleph that the Bnei Ashkenaz, that's their minig, that what? They wash before Kiddush, even when they're making Kiddush on wine.
Only Friday night.
Yeah.
Only Friday, not the Shabbos day.
So the Rashbam means that the Friday night there's no wine available. That's why.
Right, exactly. So the Bnei Ashkenaz paskin lechatchila to do it even if you're making Kiddush on wine. Right? On Friday nights, exactly, Friday night. Other Rishonim, based on how they learn the Gemara, and you're talking about the Rif and the Rambam, according to the Ran, and the Shulchan Aruch, what are they taina? They say that if you did wash your hands before Kiddush, then make Kiddush on bread, not on wine. If you already washed your hands before Kiddush, you should make Kiddush on bread, not on wine.
So the Mechaber holds like that with the Rif and the Rambam, that if you did wash, you should...
Right. That's what the Shulchan Aruch brings, yeah. That if you washed, you shouldn't make Kiddush on wine. You should make Kiddush on bread. In other words, make Hamoitzi right away, not Hagafen. You could drink wine later, because unto hate.
Otherwise, it would be Levatola, Broch Levatola. Or Al Etzel Sidai. It would be Broch Levatola.
If you forgot, you washed.
In other words, that's the better thing to do. That's the better thing to do. But the Yevid, we see it's fine. As Rashbam told us, but the Yevid, it's fine. If you made Hagafen, you're good. You don't have to go do another until it's Yadayim. But the Chatchila, that's not the best. That's not the best thing. Okay, now there's just one more detail to mention here, and that is how we understand the Kiddush of Rav, to make Kiddush on bread, right? So it's important. Take a look in Tosfos, Mekadesh Arifta. Let's learn it's a long Tosfos, but I just want to focus on one piece here. Kedusha rabba, right? You see Mekadesh Arifta, Kovav Amid Beis, it's the third Tosfos. Okay. So he says as follows. Pirush Rashbam, Shoye Mekadesh ala pas b'mekayim yayin. He was hungry, he would do the bread instead of the wine. Vim Kain.
The whole notion that wirst du haben gewinnen. Hungrig, ist ein ganz...
Gewinn hungrig for the netzutzes in the bride. Okay. But that Lashon Ram, Shahir Rav, Mekadosh Arifta. He says, Chavivele Rifta, Shahir Rav, Mekadosh Arifta. So I was just quoting the Rashbam. I wasn't... Vim Kain, what does this mean? Hayar Noitel Tchila. Obviously, he washed his hands first, because he was eating bread. V'lo have a Kiddush hefsek, so that's to prove that it's not a hefsek. V'kosher l'Rabbeinu tam. The Kiddush al pas vade lo have a hefsek, like you said. Kiddush on bread is for sure not a hefsek. Why? Shah Kiddush ul achra moitzi. Because the Kiddush is after hamoitzi, which is the beginning of the meal. In other words, you made hamoitzi already, and then you do Kiddush. So between the netila and hamoitzi, there was no hefsek. When you're making Kiddush on wine, the hamoitzi is later. So I understand here, the hefsek is between the netila and the eating, but not between the netila and hamoitzi. So he says, how do you compare? When you say hamoitzi, when the hefsek that you do after hamoitzi, because you want to make Kiddush, is kamoi gavil l'ture. Huh? Yeah. What's the pshat? After hamoitzi you made a hefsek. So he says that hefsek is kamoi gavil l'ture. If somebody makes hamoitzi, and then he tells his shliach, go feed my ox. Go feed my ox. The loy have a hefsek ben bracha la'achila. Why? Because you're not allowed to eat before your animal eats. You're not allowed to nasati eser b'sotcha livhem techa v'yachalta v'savata. The Gemara says, asur la'adam lechel koydem sh'achel b'hemtoi. First you got to feed the animal, then you got to feed yourself. Yeah. So he makes hamoitzi, he wants to put it in his mouth, he's not allowed to. His cow is never hungry. Chickens are starving. The birds are starving. The dog is starving. Behemoth is starving. So he tells the shlich, go give him to eat. That's not a hefsek. Why? Because it's the only way you can eat. So it's part of the tzudah. It's not. You didn't speak to him about a telephone call or a business deal. You spoke to him about the tzudah. It's like saying, please give me the knife. Please give me the salt. This is not a hefsek. So la have hefsek ben bracha la'achila. It says v'kol sheken de'elinyan etila la have a hefsek. Certainly here it's not a hefsek because you didn't make, even between the netila and hamoitzi, it's not a problem. Even between washing hands and hamoitzi, it's not a problem if you say go feed the animal. Certainly you didn't make a hefsek before hamoitzi. You made a hefsek after hamoitzi, right? Why? In order to be able to eat. In order to be able to eat, you have to make Kiddush.
Rob is doing introspection. He's looking at his behemoth elokit.
But when you're doing Kiddush on wine, it's before hamoitzi. You have so I don't understand how Rav's behavior is refuting what they said. You can answer the maybe sometimes what he meant was he wanted to do Kiddush on bread, and he washed his hands. And then he changed his mind and made on wine. And he still didn't go wash his hands again. That's pshat. From here you could bring a rayataka. He wanted to make on bread. L'poil he made on wine, right? And he still didn't go wash again, and he just made on moitzi. This would bring a proof. Maybe that's pshat. How you have to understand the story.
Then you have then you have
right. Then you have proof. Then you have proof.
He basically reads it differently.
He reads it completely differently. Then he says you have proof.
I thought it was Tokudei Dibur. He's not allowed to change his mind if it's. No, it's just his mindset is not constant.
No, he washed his hands. He wants to eat bread, and then he decides to do Kiddush on wine. Yeah.
Before he makes Monsey, then he makes Kiddush on wine.
Yeah, that's what he thinks maybe.
So I'm asking that transference of intent from the Monsey to the Yayin. Isn't there a shear for that? That's my question.
No, it's fine. He's going to eat the bread later, and yeah, it's fine.
Transference of intent was from the Kiddush on Monsey to the.
That's fine. He didn't make Kiddush yet. It's fine. He didn't make Kiddush yet. It's fine.
Even though it's a different bracha, he would have been making this kavanah.
Right. Yeah, because now he's just washing his hands. He's not yet into Kiddush.
He washed his hands for bread.
For bread, yeah. Yeah.
That washing was fall on top.
Yeah.
And now you're saying he can use that makshava
yeah.
for a break up.
It's fine, yeah. Ve'ein lahakshus l'rashbam. You can't ask on the Rashbam. Da mashma l'kamand ein mavdilin ala pas. We're going to see later you don't make Havdalah on the pras. Mid Ameimar bas tavus. We're going to see that Ameimar went to sleep. Mitzvah Shabbos, he didn't have wine without eating bread, and he didn't do it on bread. Im kain kol shekain dein mekatchen ala pas. So for sure, if you can't make Kiddush on Havdalah, on bread, you can't make on Friday, on Shabbos. The Kiddush chamer me Havdalah. Kiddush is much more serious than Havdalah. We learned before that when Shabbos comes in, you have to stop for Kiddush, but not for Havdalah. So l'cha'ira, if you can't make Havdalah on bread, for sure not Kiddush on bread, that's not a question. And furthermore, you're going to ask another proof. L'kaman amrina, we learn that Savim in a Kedusha udlei mekadushinon, Havdalah mavdalinon. They thought Kiddush you can't do on beer, but Havdalah, yeah, we see that Kiddush is more stringent. The ein kash, it's not a question. The ikatayma, there's a big difference between the two, and I'll tell you why. The kivan shemitzvah listed shudah Shabbos shayach Kiddush ala pas. It's a mitzvah to have a meal of Shabbos. So Kiddush could be on bread. Aval Havdalah ein inyan etzel pas. Ela dafka la yayin the shayach b'chol dvarei da v'shir. Friday night's Kiddush is connected to bread. It's a mitzvah to have a suda. Havdalah has nothing to do with a meal. Havdalah is just thanking, praising. So it's only on wine. So we could understand why Kiddush bread, Havdalah no bread, that's not a problem. And therefore the Rashbam's position, I'm still maintaining, he has a point about Rav. And he has a point that you can make Kiddush. You can make Kiddush on bread. So when the Rashbam says that he used to make Kiddush on bread instead of wine, right? That's how he teaches it. So he's maintaining the view of the Rashbam. He's not refuting it. Mikol makom nidel Rabbeinu Tam the ein mekatchen ala pas klal. Nonetheless, Rabbeinu Tam feels that you're not supposed to make Kiddush on bread at all. We have a Maisa with Rav. What are you denying a Maisa with Rav? What do you mean Rabbeinu Tam says? Rav says, yeah. So he says, V'hacha, the pshat is, hacha pirusha. Let me explain to you what happened. He doesn't mean that you can make Kiddush on bread. Hanoitel yadav lo yikadosh. Fascinating. The Gemara says, that Rabbi Bruna said in the name of Rav, when you wash your hands, don't make Kiddush. What's pshat? Mishum desvira leile Rav yesh Kiddush alai b'makom suda. We learned earlier in the Gemara, Rav holds you could make Kiddush not in the place of the meal. He said that you could make Kiddush in Shul and come home and you don't have to make Kiddush again. Shmuel disagreed. Halach is like Shmuel, but Rav holds Kiddush. So Rav is afraid if you wash your hands, you're going to make Kiddush, you're not eating a Monsey right away. You're going to do a Monsey an hour later in somebody else's house. That's the problem. And that's Hesach Hadas, because Rav doesn't hold Kiddush from Makom Suda. Sometimes he liked bread and he made Kiddush on bread. Kaloimar, have a Mekadosh Achamra, al das lechel miyad rifta. He made Kiddush on wine, but he wanted to eat bread right away. Chaviva le'rifta means he wanted to eat. So Mekadosh Arifti made Kiddush to eat right away because he holds you Ketaka eat in another house. But there were times he wanted to eat right away. Because of the Rifta. He made Kiddush al manas to eat the Rifta. So he would wash his hands right away before Kiddush, not afraid that he's going to go outside. Why? Because there's no hefsek.
That was mamish b'makom suda.
Because of b'makom suda, yeah. That's Kiddush. He washed his hands right before Kiddush on the wine. But on the wine, that's the vart. Even though he holds Kiddush alei b'makom suda, but there were times he was not worried about it because he knew that he's not going to walk. And if he knew he's not going to walk, he wasn't worried. You could make a motzi right away.
He knew he's eating bread.
He's eating bread. And it's not like diluting, which you said you shouldn't do after Natila, where he said it's warm water and you have to be careful. Other times he wanted wine. Not in the place of bread. He made Mekadosh wine, not on bread. In Shul, not on the place of bread. The Svidaled Yesh Kiddush Leib Makom Suda. But man, the sava ain't kiddush ela b'makom suda. Kol shekein the night the other mekadosh lo yav es chadas. But if you hold kiddush as b'makom suda, for sure you can always wash before kiddush because it's never es chadas. Even Rav who holds ain't kiddush b'makom suda, you don't have to do it. Still, if you know that you want to eat right away, you could wash your hands before. Certainly, if you're doing kiddush b'makom suda, so you can't leave because you have to do kiddush again, then for sure you could wash your hands before because it won't be es chadas. That's pshat. Nothing to do with Rav making Kiddush on bread. It's not Pshat in the Gemara. He made Kiddush sometimes with the thought that he wants to eat bread right away. That's Pshat. He made Kiddush on the bread. He prepared the bread. I'm going to do bread right away. Then you could do Hamaitzi. There's no Hesach Hadas. That's Pshat in the Gemara. A whole new vart. He defended the Rashbam. He defended the Rashbam and explained the chiluk of Kiddush and Havdalah. But he says at the end of the day, Rabbi Natam says, you have no Gemara to support Kiddush on bread. Absolutely no support. This is the Kiddush of Rabbi Natam.
So meaning that he started doing it on the wine always and just eats bread right away. It's not like he makes the Kiddush.
Oh, so we have here a real machloikus in the sugya, how we do it. That's why the Ramah writes in Chaim, in Siman Reish Ayin Beis, that wherever you have wine, you should not be mekadosh on bread. Even though we have in this Gemara that when Rav liked bread, he did kiddush on bread. But based on the Rabbeinu Tam, the Ramah paskins that if you have wine, you should not do kiddush on bread. But since most of the Rishonim disagree with Rabbeinu Tam, so therefore we paskin that if you don't have wine, you make kiddush on bread. Even though Rabbeinu Tam would disagree, he doesn't hold this kiddush on bread. Right? So that became a big machlokes. This is kiddush at night. Kiddush by day, generally, we say it's better not to do on bread, because by day, there's no birchas kiddush. And if you do it on bread, it's just like a regular meal. You don't have a distinction between that and a regular meal. If you do hagafen before the meal, it's good. That's why by day, it's even more difficult to do it on bread. By day, you should avoid it. You should avoid it even more. By Havdalah, though, we said, everybody says you don't do it on bread. Like the Rashbam told us, and Tosfos explained, because it's shaykh only to wine. It was made on wine, and bread is not connected to Havdalah because it's not connected with Hasuda.
So the Ramah learns like the Rabbeinu Tam?
So that's why the Ramah paskins that if there is wine, right, you should really avoid bread, making it
I'm saying the Ramah learns like...
If you don't have wine, then yeah. Yeah.
If you have wine, just
like what the Yankees do.
Yeah. So the yekas, the minig of Ashkenaz is that the lechatchila they wash their hands before Kiddush on wine, and then they eat after. That's also based on Rabbeinu Tam. Rabbeinu Tam was on Rabbeinu Tam, right? That's the minig Ashkenaz. So that based on the first Tosfos teaches us the Kiddush that you can lechatchila wash your hands before Kiddush, and that's taka the minig Ashkenaz. The second Tosfos teaches us the Kiddush of Rabbeinu Tam, never bread. Based on these two Kiddushim, the Ashkenazim will wash before Kiddush and make Hamaitzi after Kiddush. And whenever we have wine, we try not to make Kiddush on bread.
And the explanation of Rav that he changed his mind was that he was not leaving for the Suda, he was staying for the Suda.
Right. Because from the Gemara is mashma lechatchila that you can make Kiddush on bread. Rav had wine and he made Kiddush on bread. That's his point. Because if he didn't have wine, he wouldn't say because it was chaviv. He would just say because he didn't have a choice. The point is he had a choice and he still made on bread. So Rabbeinu Tam revolts against that and he says, absolutely, that's not what the Gemara means. The Gemara means he had in mind to eat bread. That's it. Right away.
So if we have to make Kiddush on one of the chalas, we do it at night better than by day.
Yeah. Kiddush, if you have a choice to make, you have a revius of wine, you could use it by day or by night. So better to make Kiddush by night on bread rather than by day. Because by day you shouldn't make on bread. Because I'm telling you, when you make on bread, there's no hecker. It's like what you do always. You eat a meal, you sit down for. If you do wine before the meal, it's a hecker for Shabbos. But Friday night, you can make Kiddush on bread because you're doing a whole nusach of Kiddush. Right? But Shabbos, they only do Beire Priagaf and Hamaitzi. So Friday night, if you make Kiddush on bread, you still see it's for Shabbos because you do this whole text, Mekadosh Shabbos. But by day, if you do Hamaitzi on bread, what's the difference between Sunday and Shabbos? Right? So today people don't wash, but Amal, you washed. So what's the difference? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Shabbos is the same meal. You sat down with bread, you made Amoitzi. That's why by day you try to do wine more than bread. Okay. Yeah. So Rabbi Tam says like this. I'll look in the Gemara. Zimnin de chaviv alei rifta. Sometimes the bread was really cherished by him, meaning he really wanted to eat. So Mekadesh, he made Kiddush arifta on the bread, meaning he made Kiddush on bread. There was already bread there because his mindset was, I'm making Kiddush and we're starting to eat right away, right here.
But he's really making it on wine.
He's making on wine. Zimna de chaviv alei chamra. Sometimes he just wanted wine. He wasn't interested in eating. So Mekadesh HaChamra, it was just about the wine. It wasn't connected to the meal. That's how he teaches the Gemara. Why does he have to teach it this way? Because then it works very well. They said that if you wash your hands before the meal, right, it's not good. You have to do a nun until it's Kiddush in the name of Ram. So he says that's not true. That's absolutely not true.
That was never the case.
That's not the case. Because you see that he made Kiddush on wine. He washed his hands before, right? Take a look in Tosfos, you see. Mekadesh HaChamra al das lechel miyad rifta v'yanoitel miyad yodav koidem Kiddush. When he wanted to eat right away, he would wash his hands before Kiddush, make hagofen, and eat a moitzi, and it wasn't Hesach Hadas. So this disproves them. According to the Rashbam, you had a problem. Why do you have a problem? Because how could you compare their case to Rav's case? Rav made Kiddush on bread, so of course it's not Hesach Hadas. He made a moitzi right after he washed, and then he made Kiddush to eat the bread. They're saying that you're not allowed to make Kiddush on wine after the Tilas Yadayim. Where's the refutation? There's no refutation. Unless you say that it means he washed his hands, that's what he said. Maybe it means that he changed his mind. If he changed his mind, maybe that's what it means. That he changed his mind. He wanted to make on bread, and then he made on wine. That's what he means. Right? Which is a big chiddush. It's a big chiddush. He wanted to make on bread, and then he decided to make on wine. And he relied on that washing. But it's a big doichik to say that. So Rabbi Tam says, no. The pshat is, he taka made kiddush on wine. But he wanted to eat bread, but he washed his hands before. So it's a good proof that refutes what they said, that you have to do a second washing. You typhus? It's two completely different ways how to learn the Gemara. But the Rashbam holds that actually no. He made Kiddush on bread. He ate the bread. But the fact that the bracha of Kiddush wasn't Hesach Hadas for him proves that Kiddush is not a Hesach Hadas. Even if you don't have the bread right there, you didn't make Hamoitzi. Even if you didn't make Hamoitzi right away, the fact that between Hamoitzi and the eating, it's not called Hesach Hadas, right? So if you don't make Hamoitzi right away, Hagefen and saying Kiddush is also not Hesach Hadas. That's what the Rashbam holds. Okay.
This class is brought to you by the yeshiva.net. Please help us continue the classes. Make even a small contribution at www.theyeshiva.net/donate.